Hello, me boyo. Welcome to the franchise episode number 144.
Oh,
43.
Good. Well done.
Okay. And Henry, welcome to the
or Emerald, whatever.
Welcome to the Emerald Green world of the luckiest franchise around, the Leprechaun. Actually, just Leprechaun. It's like Volcano.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So this was a $100 tier Patreon pick from our listener, Danimal Control. He dropped $100 for us to cover Leprechauns 1 through 8. So we're gonna be held captive by this little fella for a while.
Unfortunately, yes, we will. That ain't no fucking bear. Yeah, we're stuck with 6 more of these. So
Stuck, you say? Now, Henry, what's your relationship to the Leprechaun series?
absolutely zero.
Is that true?
Yes. I vaguely recall the first one coming out when I was a teenager, being a slight joke thing type of deal. Jennifer Aniston was pretty much an unknown at that point.
Oh, sure. This is about a year and a half before Friends.
Right, and I really only knew it from Mike Myers doing it in Wayne's World.
Yeah, the Leprechaun.
Right.
Which is still very funny. Boy, don't you wish he dropped $100 for us to cover Wayne's World?
I certainly do. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Danimal, I gotta tell you, these were rough. Now, I have a little bit of a relationship with these Leprechaun movies. I've seen like 6 of them, I think.
Have you really?
Yeah, but I'm not trying to brag or anything, Henry, but I watch them in groups of friends.
Right.
And that's right. I have multiple friends. Sometimes we get together, watch some bad movies, and so I've definitely seen these a few times. I've watched them as recently as I think last St. Patrick's Day. I watched part of the third one on television.
Okay.
And I've seen, I think, the first one in the hood more than once.
Yeah, well, as has been established, you're definitely down for a silly bad comedy horror movie.
Sure, I certainly am, but this isn't the kind of movie I'm going to like sit on my own and put on.
I wouldn't hope so. Yeah, right.
And part of it, watching it alone, God, you don't realize when you're in a group because you're making fun of all the silly shit.
Right.
These movies are boring.
They really are. Yeah, they really, really are. They lack even like a Troll and Troll 2 type of kitsch factor and imagination.
Well, the real marquee draw of these movies is what's his face? Warwick Davis.
Marquee draw.
I mean, at this point, he'd had a hit with Willow. And this was like Hollywood. They're like, we don't know what to do with him. He's a little guy. So they just like let him sort of sit there. Like we had a hit with Willow. Like with normal heighted actors, we then put him in other shit.
Right.
But they didn't do that with him. Like now, even like Dinklage had Game of Thrones, and now like you see him pop up in big movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But back then we weren't really doing that. So I guess Warwick Davis, he got offered the title role in a movie, and he was like, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna take it, right? He's the preeminent little person of that time. Correct.
I know, but isn't it a little demoralizing to be a little person? They're like, his agent calls him in. Hey, Warwick, we've got a starring role for you. Like, I bet he was like, what is it, a leprechaun?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you are playing the titular leprechaun.
Yeah, he probably was. He probably figured that out pretty quick.
Sure. So I mean, he's in this, and I spent a lot of time in these movies just trying to figure this character out. And so let's get down to brass tacks, Henry. Can we do the stats and stuff before we get talking? Because I've got a lot to say, not necessarily about the movies, more about this very interesting, already very well-developed character.
Yeah, let's get down to the gold buckles.
Oh, yeah, good. So Leprechaun was written and directed by a real auteur, Henry. Mark Jones. Now, this fella was a animation writer. He wrote for a lot of Saturday morning cartoons in his day.
Sure.
In like the 70s and 80s. You might have seen his work on Rubik, the Amazing Cube, or the Mr. T animated series, Henry.
Yeah, there is a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he even wrote for live action A-Team, Henry.
Yes, he did.
He wrote for Police Academy, the animated series, which I watched every episode of. He even wrote for a show I've referenced on this podcast that no one seems to have heard of but me, James Bond Jr.
That's correct.
Bond. James Bond Jr.
And he also wrote for Superboy.
Yeah, that's what he was doing right before he sold the script to Leprechaun.
Oh, all right. Well, that explains the inclusion of a certain actor who made the superhero count.
Oh, yeah? Well,
only one.
We'll get into that very soon. Absolutely.
Continue.
So he wrote the Leprechaun movie. Then he only worked on the first one, Henry. He wrote and directed it. And then he was like, I'm made in the shade, baby. What do I do next? He had a great idea, revolutionary, total 180 from Leprechaun, Henry. And that is 2 years later, he made a horror movie called Rumpelstiltskin. Wherein Rumpelstiltskin comes alive in modern-day Los Angeles and starts killing people, all right?
That makes sense, sure.
So you'll be loving that. That's almost like I feel like we should watch it.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, he got the creators of Scooby-Doo to produce that one for him. And then he created a TV show called Nightman.
Nightman.
Yeah. Now, this is a sci-fi. We should include this in superhero count from now on. What do you think this guy's name is in real life? I mean, like his secret identity, Henry.
Nightman?
Yeah. It's a pretty good one.
Okay. I'm just going to throw words out that I think.
I think you might eventually get it. This is like a monkey on a typewriter situation. I think if you throw enough names out, you'll get Nightman's alter ego.
Okay. Calder Spaulding.
No, man. Think more generic. Like, what would his first name be? His first name is a name. That's the name of a lot of people in this genre. And his last name is a thing.
Okay. Mason?
No. So think of it as it'd be like, you know,
Mike?
Danny Ferris Wheel or something like that.
Okay. Steve?
Steve what?
I got Steve right?
No, but I just want to hear the full name, please.
Oh, Steve Coaster.
No, not it. You want me to give the initials?
Yeah.
All right, it's J.D.
J.D. Jack?
No.
John?
Close.
Jesus. Joe?
No, you were closer.
Johnny.
Johnny's it, yeah.
All right, Johnny Danger.
Oh, that would be good. But no, this is alter ego. It can't be quite that silly.
Right. So you said it's a thing. So, okay.
It is a thing.
Johnny, I have no fucking Johnny Doily. I have no idea.
Henry, Johnny Domino is a musician.
Oh, that works. Yeah.
While performing for some VIPs, he's struck by a lightning bolt. He then thinks he hears things, but no one is talking, and the things that he hears are terrible. All right, he can pick up thoughts like a radio picks up certain frequencies, and so he created this Nightman TV show. It's I think based on a comic book by Steve Englehart.
Really?
Yeah. And he worked on that. Since then, he's written a couple of movies that I have never really heard of. They're horror movies.
Okay.
One of them sounds pretty good. It's called Scorned. It's got Billy Zane in it, Henry.
There you go.
He's probably the killer, right?
I would assume so.
I would hope so.
The Phantom's Billy Zane.
That's right. So there's superhero count in that movie.
All
now,
right.
Leprechaun. So Mark Jones wrote and directed this baby. Now this comes out exactly when you think it did, Henry. Did you look this up?
Yeah. Actually,
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Because I was quite curious.
Okay.
So.
Now this was
Makes
released January 8th, and I think I could have told you that number without looking it up. 1993, it comes out on a budget of $1 million. Every cent of it on the screen. And,
That is a big, real big budget for this. Yeah.
box office of $8.6 million. So, I mean, it's a hit.
Yeah.
It came in at number 117 at the box office, Henry.
Oh my.
Yeah. Right between two movies I'm not familiar with, but I bet you are.
Oh.
One of them is called Lost in Yonkers. Do you know it?
I think that's based on a Neil Simon play.
I'm looking it up, and you are right.
Is Mercedes Rule in that?
Yes.
Wow. I've never.
That's the name you pulled, Mercedes Rule?
It's just that I'm picturing the movie. I didn't see it, but
But you picked that out over the male lead of the movie? Who's like a famous actor?
Is it Dreyfuss?
Yes, it is Richard Dreyfuss.
Look at me, man.
Very good.
Wow.
All right.
What a bunch of useless info I have in my head.
Yeah, that's just crammed up there, Hank.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the other movie on the other side of it in the rankings is called Mr. Jones. You familiar with this?
Yes, that's Richard Gere as a mentally disturbed individual.
Henry, that is Richard Gere as a mentally disturbed individual. Boy, oh boy, do you know your 1993 trash.
Another one I didn't see, but I remember it.
That's good stuff. Hey, and Bancroft, isn't that?
There you go. There you go.
All right. Now, you have your 1993 list, Henry.
I do.
Okay, as do I. I did a new 93 list. I'm working on my old 94 list today.
I'm the opposite. I have a relatively new 94 and a very old 93. I have our original 93.
Oh, very old. Okay, so
yeah, but I'm reversing a couple on the fly, so it's cool.
All right, so this is my new 93 list. I've got honorable mentions, Henry, Shortcuts, and Dead Alive.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. What's your number 10?
My number 10 is True Romance.
10, huh?
Yeah, I need to redo the list.
Yeah. My number 10 is A Bronx Tale.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I'm talking about the movie. I'm not talking about the book, the musical, the ice cream flavor, the video game, or indeed the comic book or the pop-up book. All right?
I'm Chaz Palminteri. Sometimes I like to take cabs. If I take a cab and I get out at a Broadway show, you could come with me.
Hey, I'm Chaz Palminteri. I wrote a new piece. It's a one-man show. I bet it's about a boy named Colosio opening the door for a girl. A girl.
A goyle.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I remember that fondly, our little Chaz Palminteri riff from an episode a long time ago.
That's right. Henry, what is number 9?
Number 9, Tombstone.
Tombstone, not as good as Tomb Raider. My number 9 is Carlito's Way.
Too low. All right.
Okay.
My number 8 is Manhattan Murder Mystery.
A fine film.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Naked.
Oh, sorry.
Just the one word there, Henry.
I was waiting for lunch.
Nope. The Mike Lee film, not the Cronenberg.
Right. Yeah, I do have to redo this list because this number 7 would be significantly higher now, but that's okay. Number 7 is Groundhog Day.
Sure. A fine film. My
Um,
number 7. Man, movies and TV shows now are just like, it's just totally cool to be like, hey, we're doing Groundhog Day. That's the plot of the movie. It's Groundhog Day.
you're right.
Because,
You're right.
I mean, and they get good reviews, like Happy Death Day and Russian Doll on Netflix. All they're doing is Groundhog Day.
You're
Is
right.
that like a new genre? It's like how the guys who made Superman accidentally created like superhero. That's a new genre.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about Russian Doll. I was looking at the trailer for that, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" And like, they just did the Happy Death Day.
Yeah,
and there's others too.
I'm telling you.
God,
There's an episode of The X-Files entitled Monday.
there you go.
Yep. A bank
right.
keeps blowing up. They got to stop it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Henry, what's your number? Oh, right. Am I
you
7?
7.
In the
Yeah.
Name of the Father.
That's my number 6.
Love it. My number 6 is Menace to Society.
Never saw it.
Heavy hitters.
Thank you.
These are the grand slams, the slap shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
California.
Ooh, with a K?
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of your boy DeCovs.
Yeah, Duchovs is in that movie. Also, Juliette Lewis's breasts.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me is probably my favorite Jurassic Park movie, Henry. Jurassic Park.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Number 4, get in the cab, buy a popcorn. I'll sit next to you. I'll share it with you. Bronx Tale.
Oh, love it. All right, my number 4 is Groundhog Day.
There you go. Good placement. My number 3 is Carlito's Way.
My number 3 is True Romance.
Yeah, good call. My number 2 is a movie we've covered, and I actually watched a good bit of it the other day. It was on HBO, I believe. The Fugitive.
A fine film. Didn't quite make my list.
Ooh.
My number 2, Henry, is a little film called Schindler's List.
Whoa. Whoa, now I know the list was altered.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's my number 1 film of 1993.
All right. Well, I'm going bold on this one, Henry.
I bet you are. Can I have a hint? We don't do this often, but
This is a real personal fave, Henry.
All right, can I get some sort of hint that won't be too?
It's a period piece.
Oh, does it star Daniel Day-Lewis?
Nope.
Oh,
What'd you think it was?
that Scorsese film that the name is.
The Age of Innocence, of course.
yeah, yeah.
That's a great film, but not on my
Yeah.
list.
The Remains of the Day. No,
No.
you would never do that. Another hint.
Okay.
I'm really lost on this. Yeah.
Let's see. It is the second film by a Oscar-nominated filmmaker still working today.
Okay. Neil Jordan.
No. Oh, Neil Jordan is still working today, baby. Gotta see that Greta.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. You're not giving me much here.
Number 1 is Dazed and Confused.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what, man? You love that movie, so
it's a little better than Schindler's List.
Yeah, it's not really even close, but
It is.
that's okay. Yeah.
All right. So
Good for
Henry, that's the list, and I'm happy with my new 1993 list. Hey, by the way, speaking of Spielberg,
Yeah.
do you hear about this fucking bullshit Spielberg's working on right now?
I did. I saw an article on that actually today. I was going to ask your opinion on that. what you thought. I didn't know which side you might come down on. I actually.
So Spielberg is arguing to the Academy Board, our old friends at the Motion Picture Arts and Sciences,
Yeah.
that Netflix movies should not be eligible for Academy consideration.
Right.
No, it is the fucking dumbest shit he's ever said in his goddamn silly fucking life.
Right.
And get with the times, buddy. I mean, this is like arguing like when the to me, this is the modern equivalent of like some fucking guy when like The Sopranos came out going like, no, that should be nominated for Cable Ace Awards.
Now, I happen to agree with you on this. It just opens up a larger crypt.
It doesn't though, because
well, no. Just to me, because as I've been teased before, what constitutes, did he even get into the specifics of it didn't matter if it was released in theaters or it did or what?
Well, his argument is that they're cursorily releasing them to theaters for a tiny little time frame in like a couple theaters just so it's eligible, and he thinks that's bullshit. And so he thinks movies like Roma or Beast of the Southern Wild or I don't remember what else, but Netflix movies that have been nominated for shit in the last few years, Icarus even or whatever, shouldn't be eligible. And I just think he's out of his fucking mind. People were making this argument right around the time Netflix got into original programming.
Sure.
Like when House of Cards and Orange is the New Black were like their first big hit shows. And people are like, well, what do you nominate them for? And everyone else was like, what are you, fucking high? They're done in 1 hour long, 13-episode installments. That sounds like a TV show to me.
The Tonys.
Yeah. So they got nominated for Emmys, and everyone shut the fuck up about it.
Right.
I mean, what is Roma if not a movie?
I agree, and I mean, things like talking about like Netflix, about with like House of Cards or whatever you want to talk about. I mean, it's television. It's just a channel. I mean, you pay for HBO, you pay for cable.
Okay, so but people's argument is, what about HBO movies, Henry, are eligible for Emmys, not Oscars?
Well, I don't know. There's been a few HBO movies in my life that I definitely think were better than many movies I'd seen in the theater.
Well, so you're telling me, man, and I think maybe that's the move. Is don't blame Netflix. I think in this era of the changing landscape of media, maybe we make TV movies Oscar movies now. Fuck theaters.
I'm kind of with you. I gotta say, I mean, a movie's a movie. And
Henry, if I could never go to the theaters again, I would take that option.
I know you would. And as I wasn't able to go a lot last year, I didn't really I didn't really miss it. So I understand. What's funny? It would certainly give movies bigger exposure if it just wasn't in theaters. You know what I'm saying? Like
movies
all of a
get
sudden,
much bigger exposure on fucking Netflix. Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think if Roma was released by like Fox Searchlight or Sony Pictures Classic in like the Angelica or whatever, it would have gotten as much fucking attention by the general movie-going public? I have fucking borderline retarded people at my job that have told me, I tried to watch this Netflix movie Roma, I got like 5 minutes in, I had to read. And I'm like, they put that movie on because it's on Netflix.
Right. Oh, by the way, you just said retarded.
Well, but I used it to describe mentally challenged individuals. That's the correct usage.
I see.
I specifically did that, Henry.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't mind.
You used the word retarded in a text to me today.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, well.
You just used that word willy fucking nilly, dude.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. Speaking
I
of
mean it as a
willy-nilly,
I mean it in the
Leprechaun.
Webster definition of a slowing down of processes.
I don't know about that. All right, can we talk about the wee lad, the Leprechaun? Now,
If we must, yeah.
please let's do it so that we could get through this. So,
Yeah, I agree.
So the first movie. So what do we know about the Leprechaun? That's what I want to talk about here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go one at a time. Throw out some facts that we know about the Leprechaun. Because we
the
learned
Leprechaun
so much.
So we know that you can't steal his pot of me gold.
He loves gold. He's got a pot of it. Don't even try to steal one thing. He'll notice.
Right?
All right?
He seems to have magical powers when he has his pot of gold.
Okay, now what are these magical powers?
Disappearing and reappearing.
Sure. He seems to have some sort of low-level telekinesis.
Right. He seems to not be immune to physical harm, as he can be shot and knocked out, almost as though he's clunked on the head by a bottle.
Yeah, it's like the X-Man Thunderbird. He feels it, but he absorbs it.
Yeah, Wolverine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, he also is an excellent mimic, Henry.
Yes, he can ape voices of anyone.
He can throw his voice as though he's a parrot.
Right. He's a voice thrower.
What else do you know?
You cannot, if you entrap him and place a 4-leaf clover anywhere near him.
Yes, he is very vulnerable to 4-leaf clovers. As a leprechaun, you might think he'd enjoy 4-leaf clovers. He does not. They're his kryptonite, it seems.
He does like Me Lucky Charms, the cereal.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He eats them.
But then I think he threw them. He said fuck this.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed if he would have said fuck this.
Yeah.
But,
okay. Henry is a wonderful cobbler.
Yes, he has to shine any shoe. Very, I don't know if I'd say wonderful cobbler, because he doesn't really shine shoes very well. He kind of just takes an old rag and gives him a couple of rubs, and
it's
then
more of he's got a trace of obsessive compulsive disorder, I'd say.
Right.
He's got to shine the shoes.
Yes, you throw 5 or 20 shoes at him, and he gets distracted very easily, which led me to believe that would be a pretty easy way to defeat him by luring him with a biscuit trail of shoes into some sort of trap.
Just lure him into a DSW shoe warehouse.
Exactly, he's finished.
He's done. You can get away, man.
You don't even need to kill him. I mean, if you just lowered him into Imelda Marcos's closet,
eventually he'll just get hired.
Yeah. Oh, you know who he would have been a good employee for?
Who's that?
Goldfinger.
Sure, or
maybe Goldmember.
Maybe he'd be good working at Fort Knox.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is he a better character?
A better character than Goldmember, Henry?
Yes.
Yeah, he's more fleshed out. I do think I don't think Goldmember could carry movies the way the Leprechaun does. Okay, what else do we know about him, Henry?
Are we just talking about both
sure.
incarnate? Yeah. He needs or wants a bride.
Yeah. It seems as though every 1,000 years he must take a bride.
Right.
Now I have an interesting question about that, Henry, and we'll get to the second one where he has to take a bride.
Yes.
In the first movie, he very explicitly says that he's 600 years old.
Yes, he does. You're absolutely right.
In the second movie, we see him attempt to take a bride, so that has to be 1,000 years ago. It takes place in 1994, so we're looking at 994 AD. All right?
Right.
So he's
right.
alive for 1,000 years at that point. So the Leprechaun, to me, was born in 6 BC.
Right.
Okay? So maybe the Leprechaun was there at the crucifixion.
He could have been.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, so then that he's got to be about 2,000, I guess, by the time the second one comes up. So I don't know what he's talking about with 600.
Well,
the first one.
I mean, if he's that old, he probably has memory problems at that point.
Sure.
And I would say that if he was at the crucifixion, he could have sold Jesus, for the 30 pieces of silver, him and Judas, but silver wouldn't cut it. So
Maybe he brought Jesus back to life.
that's a good reanimation.
Yeah. Because I think he has that power too. What else? What else do we know about him, Henry? I have a long list.
We know that he can turn machinery into.
Oh, Henry, you're breaking up left and right here.
Okay.
What is
Yeah,
this you're calling machinery?
He can turn machinery
Oh,
breasts.
He can turn machinery into breasts?
Yes.
Okay, well, that is true. He can. Well, but I think that's more of like he can cause you to have a mirage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did appreciate the breasts in the second one.
So did I.
Now, he's good with machinery. He's a great mechanic. He can summon a car at will, it seems, and he's a great driver.
He knows how to drive smaller vehicles. Yes.
Yeah, he always has a tiny car, which he seems to create from scratch. What else?
Yeah. Oh my. He has hair in the first one, and he's bald in the second one.
Does he have hair in the first one? I did notice he was bald in the second one when his hat came off.
Yeah, because when he looks in the mirror that he's never seen a mirror, he is looking at his hair and fixing it.
I do recall that. Okay.
Yeah.
So he loses his hair. Interesting that his hair lasts for 1,999 years, and then it seems to all come out in 1 year.
Right.
He also has a forked tongue.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, at one point, he goes to his prospective bride in the second one, and he goes, "Kiss me, I'm Irish," and
Right.
and he sticks his tongue out to lick her face, and he drools all over her. It's a forked
Right.
tongue. Yeah.
Being forked. Okay.
Yeah. He also, Henry, can grant 3 wishes.
That was a new one for me.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Neither did I.
He can grant you wishes, which is very interesting.
Like a genie.
Like a genie, exactly. And also, at the end of the second one, he got stabbed and he started sparking. So is he in some way a robot?
It would appear as though iron is his deficiency.
That's another one, Henry. His weakness in the first one is 4-leaf clovers. By the second one, it's wrought iron.
Wrought iron.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
All right. So now that we know all of that about the Leprechaun, let's get into it. Now, you've got to admit, Henry,
Yeah.
this is a fully fleshed out character.
Yeah. I wouldn't have used those words,
But we know so much about him.
Well, now that you broke it all down, yes, true.
I'd argue we have more character traits for the Leprechaun than we did for anyone save for perhaps Michael in the Godfather trilogy.
I could see that. I mean, that's not far-fetched.
Far-fetched, sure. So the first Leprechaun movie starts out. There's like this old couple. I thought I was watching fucking Waking Ned Devine.
They look like it.
Are they in Ireland?
No.
I don't know. It's an Irish couple on a sort of countryside.
No, they're in North Dakota.
Are they?
That's what it says.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He got back from Ireland where he did all this shenanigans with this Irishman.
Right. Okay. So, what's their plan? They seem to have some sort of plan in place, these two.
Well, the wife is not happy with her husband pulling up in a limo and drinking whiskey. And
Jameson, which he throws to the side.
Yeah, I noticed that right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just keeps saying he's going to be rich. They're going to be rich.
That's why I think I'm watching Waking Ned Divine. I think he's got like some sort of secret he knows about an elderly fella in town who's won the lottery and died. I think we're in for a lot of old people riding around nude on bicycles.
Oh, God.
Hey, that movie's pretty good.
I didn't care for it.
Really?
No. Nah.
I rewatched it like a year ago, and I still
Really?
like it. Yeah, I did.
Waking Ned Divine?
Yeah.
Wow.
Henry, did you know that in other parts of the world that movie is just called Waking Ned? We felt the need to add the last name here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I did not know that.
That's a fun fact about Waking Ned Divine, gang. All right, so so the leprechaun kills these two, but not before they can trap him in a box. They nail it together. It takes 4 nails. But he's weakened, see, because he pops a 4-leaf clover on top of the box.
Yeah. The old man O'Grady, before he has a stroke, is able to imprison Ned Divine's ancestor in a
Well, I don't
box.
believe this is Ned Divine, Henry. I just think he knows of Ned Divine's impending doom.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to make a bunch of Irish movie jokes, but
Please go.
Okay. So what the problem is that he's in the crate, and he goes, "Oh, my left foot! I'm in a boxer.
I see what's that. You're just naming Jim Sheridan movies.
In the name of the Father, let me out!"
Do you know any other movies by different directors?
He goes, "What is this?"
Oh, you dropped out. What is this?
The Crying Game. What?
No, you.
And therein the old man holds the secret of Roninish. So
Hey, that's a good movie, man.
that's all gonna keep, yeah. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
in the field somewhere. So
Okay, I like it. Now, Henry.
yeah.
So we cut to 10 years later. This box is still down there. And dad and his daughter, I guess a divorced dad, is that what's going on here?
I have no idea.
It was really hard to get a gauge on really just what the plot of this movie is.
Yeah, he just takes Jennifer Aniston down to this place in North Dakota, which, by the way, until I read it, I thought they were in California the whole time. But
I thought they were in Ireland, so who knows?
there you go. No. And buys this piece of shit house for no explained reason.
I think it's a summer home, Henry.
Is it now?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think they're staying. It's like we're going to go out to nature for the summer. Picture Jennifer Aniston sort of like Cher from Clueless, right?
Right.
And the dad is like in a midlife crisis. He just got divorced. And he's like, hey, well, for the summer, let's go live with nature. I bought this little cabin. We'll fix it up and have a lovely time together. Now, a lot of this is conjecture because this is not established.
Yeah, nothing is really established.
No.
Um,
They just sort of show up, man.
yeah, they show up, and Aniston's not happy with the cobwebs and the tarantulas.
There's a big-ass tarantula, brother.
Yeah, it was an odd. I mean, they could have them, I suppose, in that region of
North
wherever.
Dakota.
Yeah, sure.
Aniston's good in this.
I don't know if you're kidding, but I think she is.
No, I'm not kidding at all. I think she totally has, at some point before this, developed the comic timing that will get her friends. And
Yeah.
And she's not too different from how she is on Friends, because you remember, like, at the beginning of Friends.
I don't.
Well, I know you're not a Friends guy, but like she's the youngest of them, I think, and she's one of the youngest, and she's kind of a brat. Like she just left her husband at the altar, and she's like the rich one who's like living out on her own for the first time, and so like she's kind of playing this character.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And I still think Jennifer Aniston is a very funny, capable actress who has just like never been in a good movie.
Yeah, I've always liked her, and I mean,
Do you like any movie she's in? I like The Good Girl. That's
me
it.
too.
That's it.
The movie itself wasn't particularly good, but I liked her in Cake.
Yeah, sure. That was her Oscar grab, but no one saw that thing.
Right. I liked Horrible Bosses.
It's fine.
Office Space.
Oh, that's true. All right, you got me.
Yeah.
Flair.
Very, very good in that. Flair, right?
But I mean, when I think of Jennifer Aniston's movie career, I'm thinking like, we're the Millers.
Right.
And you know, the female lead in Bruce Almighty.
Right. She takes a lot of falls. I don't know.
She takes a lot of like, I'm the girl in this roles.
Yeah.
You know, like that movie Along Came Polly.
Yes.
That is like this big comedy movie. It made a lot of money, and it's just like everything that's funny to do goes to Ben Stiller.
Right.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah. It's weird because I've always liked her, and I think she is funny, and I don't understand. It's a weird trajectory of a career. I maybe because of Friends, it kind of put her in an awkward position in the 90s.
I wish she'd go back to TV. I think she's a TV actress.
And she should. And
it's weird. She's like the only one of the Friends that has never tried to be on another TV show.
Oh, is that right? Oh, that sounds right.
Not that I can think of. Because let's go through it, man. Schwim Dog had fucking that show on AMC about cooking. Matt LeBlanc, he was on Joey, and then he was on Episodes.
That was funny.
Sure. Kudrow had The Comeback, which I loved, and also Web Therapy. Courtney Cox was on Dirt, and then Cougar Town.
Okay.
Then Matthew Perry, he did Studio 60 with Aaron Sorkin, and he was on The Odd Couple for a while. And don't forget Mr. Sunshine, and go on. He's tried a whole slew of them.
There you go.
And did I leave out any of the Friends, Henry?
I wouldn't know, but I don't think so. All I know is there's 6. I think you nailed it. What I was going to say is
I got them all.
I think with Aniston, maybe one of the issues is I actually think she's good, like dramatically, but I think that they just don't want to give her too many chances with that, or she doesn't get a lot of offers.
Well,
you know?
I think the thing she should be doing is dramedies, because she's good at both, but her comic timing is important. I don't want to see her in something quite as dour as Cake. You know what best case scenario for her is? I forgot about this movie. She was in Nicole Holofcener's Friends with Money.
Okay, I didn't see it. Yeah,
I think that's the sort of thing she should be doing. Low budget indie. It's got some comedy, got some moving moments. I don't know.
Well, she's still got it going. She'll be all right.
She's got it going. I think she's pre-nose job in Leprechaun. But she's great. Now, so she's in there 10 years later in 1993 or whatever. She's got a great cell phone, and she's there with her father, played by Ken Oland.
Yeah, who is this fucking guy?
I don't know. He's been in a lot of stuff. I think he's best known for Summer School. Oh, you know what I know him from? April Fool's Day.
Okay.
He was like around in the 80s. And then he was around less.
Yeah. One of those guys.
Yeah, he's still around, though. He's got his last credit's 2015.
Okay.
As firefighter in an episode of Battle Creek.
Could be dead, but
He's not dead. He's 60 years old, and he's married to a lady named Janine. They have 5 children. They've been married since 1985. Good for him.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Yeah, and he hired 3 guys who paint. Right, that's the name of their company.
It's 3 guys that paint. 3 guys who paint would be better English, I think. But they. So who are these 3 guys? They're 3. It's a real odd couple group because it's like there's a real handsome hunk.
Right.
All right.
Wearing a purple. What do you even call those things?
What do you got?
Like a purple vest type of thing, like shirtless vest.
Well, that was a thing back then, Henry. There were a lot of vests hanging around.
Yeah, no. Yeah. You got him.
Then there's like a fat weirdo.
Right. From Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yes. His next door neighbor from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, who steals his bicycle, I think.
That's right.
And then what is it? A kid?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a
very
kid.
Very precocious, very annoying child.
The kid seems like the weird guy, the Pee-wee guy's keeper. Like, sort of like, he doesn't really paint. He's just there to make sure that guy doesn't get into too much trouble.
It's very true.
Because he's wanting to just run off and chase a rainbow.
Right. Literally.
Yeah.
Yes. Ozzy. Yes.
Ozzy, sure. And so the leprechaun escapes from this box when someone knocks the 4-leaf clover off of it.
Yeah.
So he regains his powers. He immediately goes after them, and that's just kind of the movie. And that's kind of both of these movies, Henry. Is like there's not that much setup. It's just like once the leprechaun attacks, you know how like in most slasher movies, Scream or something, or Halloween or Nightmare, like the guy attacks, and then we get the characters like for a day or two, like talking about it. Is he going to attack again? What the fuck was that? Let's
right.
discuss. Like in this movie, it's just like the leprechaun attacks, and then you just like they fend him off for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a very good point. Like it's built up to the point where it's not real. No one believes in it. Yada yada yada, and then like all at the same time, they all pretty much find out, and then the rest of the movie is a chase.
Right. Yeah. So Aniston wants to bone this painter guy. I'm going to imagine she's in high school and this guy's like 26.
You mean in the movie universe?
Yeah, in the universe of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird because
he like runs a painting company.
Well,
I know it's just 3 guys that paint, but still.
I don't think he went on to higher education, though. So, I mean, he could be 19 or something. I mean, I don't know.
That's a good point. He could be like 22, and he's been running this thing for like 4 years.
Right. And I was interesting because I read, when I was reading the literature on this film, that it was actually filmed in 91, which...
Yeah, I read that too, yeah.
That Aniston was only 22 years old. Yeah.
Yep, this is a young, hot to trot Aniston. This is some fresh gin. The other weird thing about Aniston is her weird tabloid presence. Like the fucking tabloids are obsessed with her still. Like I feel like every time I look at a fucking tabloid, it's like Jennifer Aniston depressed over her over not being pregnant or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know you're right. They love her. Yeah.
So the leprechaun gets under the car, and he's stroking at Aniston's bare legs.
That was very strange.
And Aniston,
yes.
First of all, does not look down. She makes a snap judgment. Someone's stroking my legs. Okay.
And it's all right.
It must be that dude that I have a crush on. Surely. Right. Surely it can't be either of the other 2 painters who would, both of whom would fit more easily under a car. Or my dad, which would be strange, but he's newly divorced and going through something clearly. Or certainly not a leprechaun. So I'm going to make the snap judgment. This is the guy I have a crush on. I will not look down. I will let him stroke my ankles.
It's very strange. The action itself of the Leprechaun, him being a leprechaun and a little pervy weirdo, I didn't find that strange. I found her reaction to it strange.
Well, the reaction to getting her legs stroked.
Yeah, just
that
under
she was so okay with it?
Well, yeah, like just from under a car. I mean, she feels these fingers just like stroking her calves and her ankles, and
yeah,
she's
surely you can like look down. First of all, it'd be weird. You just met this guy earlier that day, and he is under a car, reaching out and stroking your legs. Even if that was the case, that's best case scenario here.
Yes,
that would be weird. But even if he was, surely you should look down, see him doing that, and then go, okay, as you were.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Very odd.
So finally she realizes it is in fact a leprechaun. The leprechaun.
Yeah. Well, not for a while though, right? She didn't realize that in that scene.
No, I guess that doesn't happen right then. How do they first see the leprechaun? In the basement, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, man. That's well, Ozzy and the kid get the gold first, right?
Well, there's a lot of like who's that? Because I think at one point they like think they see the leprechaun in the basement, and they're like, "Oh, there's a leprechaun in the basement," and then like they look down, they go down there, and it's like a bug, and they're like, "Oh, there it is. There's your leprechaun."
Yeah. It was a rat, and I think Ozzy sees it first. And because he's slow-witted, nobody believes him, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, why would you?
Right.
Honestly, if that guy came up to me and said, "There's a leprechaun in the basement," I'd be like, "Have you taken your pills today?"
Yes, exactly.
You need some fucking Valium, dude.
Right, little schizoaffective disorder going on there. It's all right. Just take the med. And,
sure, but it's a leprechaun, and he pretty much just chases them for the rest of the movie. That's the movie. There's a couple murders, but there's really only like 2 deaths.
Yeah, you're right, because the main cast
they all survive. Yeah, they go to a mechanic at one point, right? And he dies.
Yeah, and
is that the pogo stick death? That's pretty good.
Yeah, the gold guy, right? The coin guy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they find one of the gold pieces from his pot of gold, and they go to authenticate it with a gold expert.
Right.
And it is in fact gold, and then the leprechaun kills that guy by bouncing on him repeatedly with a pogo stick.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which means he has great balance.
I was impressed with somebody of that size. I've never been able to utilize a pogo stick.
Yeah, how many can you do, you think? I think I could get like 3 bounces.
That's what I think. I think I'm good for 3 or 4.
Maybe 4, yeah.
Yeah.
So
then
what? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Dad gets hurt, right? Dad gets injured, and we sort of don't see him again for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what he's up to. We're more concentrating on the young, hot ones, but he's like second build in the movie, and I don't think he has as much screen time as the hunk.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
Certainly not. Yeah. Nor the charisma. Yeah.
You think the hunk has charisma?
No, he has 0. He's a real good example of one of those guys we like to talk about. You haven't used this phrase in maybe a year, right? What do you like to say?
What do I say? I don't know.
I believe the Daniel Ehrenberg
podcast.
Oh,
you mean I know what it is. A charisma vacuum.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is kind of a charisma vacuum. He's got feathered hair. He's for sure a hunk, but
pretty bad.
Yeah, but he's like one of the he wouldn't be a recurring love interest on Friends. He'd just pop up for one up.
There you go. Yeah.
So they chase this. At one point, even after they see the Leprechaun, there's some question as to like what this guy is. Like, who are we fighting here? And I'm like, guys, he's got a pot of gold and a little green hat.
Well, there's some possibility, like in the second one, where they just might think it's a little kid or a little person dressed in a costume.
Oh, is that. There's a couple of scenes in these movies where someone's like, "Oh, I get it. Take that mask off."
Right. So it takes. I guess it takes a little bit of magic before they start to believe it.
A little bit of luck.
A little bit of luck, and and they see his pot of gold. Yeah.
You got anything else to say about this one?
What was the? I thought Old Man O'Grady's death by hanging from the elevator wall ceiling.
Elevator?
Yeah, Aniston needs to find him to get the secret of how to
that was pretty
him.
Baller, actually.
And as he's hanging upside down via,
I feel bad for O'Grady, man, because he escaped the Leprechaun at the beginning of this movie, and then he goes off and his old lady died, but he goes and lives a pretty normal life. It seems like he's living in a decent sized apartment. And,
it's a nursing home, but
is it? Well, whatever. He goes off and he lives in a nursing home. He's getting taken care of for 10 years, and then all of a sudden, this girl shows up and is like, "Hey, but we knocked that 4-leaf clover off your box." And then seconds later, he's murdered.
That's true. He would have ample reason to be annoyed.
This poor bastard. If I was him, I'd be fucking haunting Aniston.
Right. Yeah, and he manages
to shit out of her, man.
He manages to eke out the way to do it and describes the 4-leaf clover,
which leads to a few scenes which is very funny to me, where they're just frantically searching grass to find the 4-leaf clover.
Clearly illuminated,
man.
Painted patches of green grass.
It reminded me of those fucking police officers rooting through the grass looking for John Wayne Bobbitt's dick.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm watching Lorena on Amazon Prime right now.
Oh. Yeah. I remember that whole thing.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I recommend that, Henry.
I don't have Amazon.
Okay. So what happens next, Henry?
The kid slingshots the clover with chewing gum.
Oh, yeah.
Into his mouth.
It's a pretty good shot.
Pretty good shot. That's what I thought at the time. And he falls into a well and then starts to, Raiders of the Lost Ark style melt. And then he comes back out, but then they torch him. And... that's it, or is it?
Well, it's not. Clearly, that doesn't kill him.
Right.
Makes him stronger. He's not seeking revenge on these. I think once the Leprechaun gets definitively beat, even when he comes back, he doesn't go search for his old the people who torched him. I think the Leprechaun really respects when someone gets the better of him.
You think in his makeup that's part of it?
I think that's it. It's listen, fair play, Aniston. You did it.
Yeah, you got me this time. I'm not going to get you the next time. I just care about me gold.
Yeah, ultimately, the gold is more important than anything else.
I mean, I can't emphasize enough. There's no problem saying it over and over again with the line "me gold" because it's said many times.
Warwick Davis isn't really doing an Irish accent.
No, he's not. It's kind of strange.
He'll say things like "me gold" or whatever, but he's more just speaking in a weird cartoon. He's more doing a pirate voice.
Yeah, it's true. Arr.
Yeah.
Matey. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And he is British, is he not?
Warwick Davis, yeah, he is.
So I would think that doing an Irish accent would not be that difficult for a British actor, but maybe he was not asked to. I don't know.
I don't know, man. He's having fun with it.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. What do you give this movie?
I give it 1 star.
Okay. I'll give it a 2.
Really?
Uh,
It earns a 2, huh?
no, I'll give it a 1. I'll give it a 1 because I want a baseline because I'm gonna give the second one a 2. I definitely like the second one more.
Oh, I did not.
Okay, well we'll get there.
I'm not worried about baselines. I know. I run outside the lines. I round first.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it this one a 1. Now go ahead. Who's your MVP?
Well, that would be Aniston.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Definitely. And who's your LVP?
I'm going to give that to Ozzy Mark Holton.
Oh, poor guy.
A little annoying. I mean, there's a few characters that were annoying, but he was pretty unwatchable for most of it.
I'll go with the hunk.
That's totally fair.
Mm-hmm.
I have one superhero.
Okay, who is it? Oh.
And indeed, this person was in the TV series Superboy. Mark Holston, who played Ozzy.
Oh, that's the Pee-wee guy?
That's right.
Okay.
He was in Superboy, must have been buddies with, what's his face? Jones, right?
Mark Jones.
Yes, he played a character in Superboy called Johnny Casanova.
Oh, boy. I would love to know what that entails.
Yeah.
All right. Is that the only one?
Yeah.
Aniston's never been in a superhero thing?
No. I was
sort of surprising. She could have been the Wasp.
Yeah, and I guess I even though we've covered him 19 times, I still can never remember Warwick Davis if he had been, but he was never in one.
Yeah, he's just in a lot of Star Wars and Harry Potter. He's in a
Right.
lot of he's a franchise guy. You got to give him that. But
Yeah.
but not a superhero guy so much.
That's right.
Yeah.
Covered him a lot.
Yeah. He's going to play Mr. Mixie Zipperlick.
He should.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to move on to Lep 2?
Yeah.
Okay, Leprechaun 2 comes out just over a year later, April 8th, 1994, Henry.
Okay.
A budget of $2 million. They doubled the budget.
Sure.
And a box office of $2.3 million, unfortunately. You might think that would stop them from making these movies, but it patently did not.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came in at number 169, high five, at the box office between a movie called A Good Man in Africa. Do you know what this is?
That's Sean Connery.
It is John Connery. Well done.
Boy,
Bruce Beresford, by the way, the director of Driving Miss Daisy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm off the charts with these movies I've never seen, but no.
You're killing it. And it made slightly more money than The Endless Summer 2, which is a surf documentary that I've seen.
Right.
Okay, so we have a new director, Henry.
Yes.
His name is Rodman Flender.
One of my favorite names that we've encountered.
It's a pretty good one.
I enjoy that name.
Like Willard Hilk. Now, prior to Leprechaun 2, he had made some sexy movies.
Yeah, I'm looking
Not
at
like
him.
not like porn, but like at the time there were a lot of like erotic dramas on TV.
Right. Well, he worked for Roger Corman. So.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he did Leprechaun 2. He also worked on Tales from the Crypt.
Yes.
And then he became a TV director. He directed one classic Halloween episode of Dawson's Creek, Henry,
Ooh.
from the first season that Kevin Williamson wrote at the height of his Scream fame.
Yeah, well, he wrote a couple episodes of that show too.
Directed.
Okay.
He has made a couple other movies. He directed Idle Hands, which is a movie I saw in the theaters.
Oh.
Yeah. Now that is an evil hand movie. Right?
Oh, sounds good.
So like Devon Sawa, he gets a hand that's killing people. And a lot of people are in that. Jessica Alba's the love interest. It's from the late 90s when like teen movies were the hot shit.
Yeah. Well, he seems to have a lot of reputable
I also want to say that at the end of Idle Hands, the final sequence takes place at the prom, as so many teen movies do, and the band The Offspring is playing the prom.
That works.
That is what I remember about that.
That works
movie.
for me.
Yeah. So since then, let's see, a lot of TV work. That's about it, man. He also weirdly directed that Conan O'Brien documentary.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. But I don't know how he landed that job, but
they went to Harvard together.
Is that true?
Yes.
Listen to you. You did a lot of Rodman Flender research. Hey, Henry. His nephew is Timothy Chalamet.
I know. Yeah.
All right, so Flender. I've liked some of his TV work. He's done like Gilmore Girls and some The Office, a lot of good TV shows.
Yeah.
And we have new writers, Henry, who I'm also a fan of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Turi Meyer and Al Septian were a writing team at the time.
All right.
They, I believe Leprechaun 2 is the first screenplay they made, but they worked on a bunch of horror in the 90s, including the third Candyman movie, and probably the most horrific thing they worked on was the Carrot Top vehicle, Chairman of the Board.
Oh, wow.
Which I have watched in its entirety.
Have you really?
Of course I have.
Have you now, Boyle? Wow.
Yeah. So that's a great movie. And but I became a fan of Turi Meyer. He quit writing for a while, split up from this Al Septian guy, and became a director. He directed the third Candyman movie, but he also directed a few episodes of Buffy and Angel, which is how I know him.
Ooh.
And some genuinely really good episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they reteamed, and they are back to writing, which they still are. They wrote for Smallville, Vampire Diaries, and they're currently writing for Midnight Texas, which I think is like a True Blood ripoff.
Oh, all right.
So there you have it. We've got some real TV stalwarts in the driver's seat behind this one.
Yeah, as you would say, a little Murderer's Row action going on here.
I wouldn't go that far.
All right.
But Leprechaun 2 starts, and it starts 1,000 years ago, Henry.
Yeah.
In 994 AD. You might think Leprechaun is not born at that point, since he's only supposed to be 600 in 1993. But he is, and he's 1,000 years old, and he's looking for a bride. And he says he's seeking a bride with an ample bosom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of the things he really wants.
He's, and I don't know about you, but the the production design setting up that medieval setting, I found to be it took me back.
It was honestly, it reminded me of the opening of Troll 2.
Yeah. Ooh.
You know, where he's like running through the woods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably the same set. Yeah.
Could be. So the Leprechaun, he's like taking this dude, he's punishing this guy, and he shows him his new bride, and it turns out that it's this dude's sister.
His daughter.
Oh, his daughter. That's even worse. Can you imagine that? Like
Pretty
finding
bad.
out, like, oh my God, my daughter's gonna fuck a leprechaun.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or he finds out his daughter's gonna fuck a MAGA supporter. So it's kind of the same.
Oh, Henry, We're not allowed to talk about politics. So says iTunes.
Oh, right.
Not iTunes. They don't give a shit. But
No,
our last
right.
2 reviews on iTunes, weirdly. Fuck you guys.
Yep.
Mortal
fuck you. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we're in 94. You want to do our list?
Oh, you're fucking good point. Yeah. All right. Let's quickly do our lists.
Yeah. All right. I'll go.
Yeah. You start. I gotta find mine. Sorry.
You know what? I gotta go to the bathroom. So.
No, Henry. We've already paused.
So pause again.
Oh, fine. And we're back. 1994 list. What's your number 10?
Ed Wood.
All right, mine is Red Rock West.
Number 9, Immortal Beloved.
Number 9, Speed.
Ooh, number 8, Heavenly Creatures.
Number 8, Crooklyn.
Number 7, Speed.
Number 7, Clerks.
Number 6, Death and the Maiden.
Number 6, Spanking the Monkey.
Aviators. Number 5, Clerks.
Number 5, Leon, the Professional.
Number 4, Red Rock West.
Number 4, Ed Wood.
Number 3, Hoop Dreams.
Number 3, Heavenly Creatures.
Number 2, The Shawshank Redemption.
Number 2, Hoop Dreams.
Number 1, Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, yeah. Okay. The Leprechaun. I'm sorry, I keep adding a the, Henry. We're trying to get correct titles here. It's Leprechaun.
No, I'm doing the same thing in my head every time I think about it. Yeah.
So we cut to present day, correct?
Yeah,
Now,
we're in L.A.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Took me a minute in the movie to figure that out, actually, until it was
not
very.
me. What are you talking about?
Well, because it shows a shot of like street signs first.
Yeah, but there's like the whole main plot of this movie is about like a kid who's running a fucking
right.
a Hollywood tour.
I got it right away, but the first couple of shots are like of street signs, and they looked somewhat like New York. And then once they panned down to a street, then I was like, oh, L.A.
Sure. All right, so we meet our lead character, Cody.
Yeah.
And this is a fella named Charlie Heath. He didn't have much of a career, but I think he's likable. And he's helping his, what is this, his uncle?
I could not decipher all the way to the end what the relate. I think, again, this is almost.
I think it's his uncle.
I err on the side of like the first one. I think he's this old man's keeper.
Oh, you think he's just working for this guy's business?
He's just keeper. He just found this old man, and they work together, and the old man's the driver.
Yeah, he I think the old man founded the business, and this kid's like the bookkeeper. He draws people into the car, and he makes sure that this guy doesn't get too drunk, or he tries.
That's right.
Yeah. So, what is the business? They drive around in a hearse and
for $75 a person.
And they take tourists to sites where celebrities have died.
Apparently, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I did the math because they don't say how much it is per person, but they said at one point he goes, "You just blew $300, Morty," and I was
Morty,
I was like,
right?
And I was like, "Oh well, there's 4 people on the tour, so that's $75. That's an expensive tour."
It's very expensive. No, and I think he's upselling because he says, "Remember, like I sold them the deluxe package."
Right.
Yeah. And he did that to those 2 tourists who were probably played by the most famous actors in this movie. Weirdly,
absolutely. Yeah.
Clint Howard.
That's right.
And Kimmy Robertson from Twin Peaks. Very nice to see them. Both of them.
Always nice to see Clint Howard.
Always nice to see Kimmy Robertson.
Yeah. I don't see her as much, I guess, but no.
Well, she's still around. She was in the new Twin Peaks.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah. she's lovely. I had a crush on her as a younger man.
Really?
Yeah. And she's I love that voice.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, it's gotta have something to do with the voice.
Right.
So anyway, he goes. He lures the people into the car. So they got a full hearse, and he's trying to get out to go on a fucking date tonight at the go-kart range. All right, with his girlfriend Bridget, played by Siobhan Durkin, who also didn't go on to do anything.
She is definitely in our action, mainly horror coverage over the years. I would place her in the top 5 worst actresses.
Worst?
Yeah, I think so.
I think she's fine.
It's pretty bad.
She's
Pretty
no
bad.
worse than a lot of the Friday the 13th.
I didn't say she was. No, I'm just saying she's.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So he's got to find his uncle or this old guy so he could do the
Morty.
tour. Now,
Right.
Uncle Morty is in the bar, verging on blackout drunk. I think we see him black out.
I think he's there and just doesn't realize it.
But
yet.
I think he's been there for a while, and we see him take like one last drink, and I think that's the moment he blacks out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
He's
that you blacking out, Henry? What was that sip there?
Yeah. That was a Poland Spring blackout.
Ooh, what flavor you got?
I have the lemon lime.
Lemon lime. Very nice. I'm drinking lively lemon at the moment.
Okay. All right.
Great.
Is that Poland Spring?
That is.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's blackout drunk. He takes him into the bathroom. You know, this seems to happen a lot because the bartender says, "Would you like your usual?" And the usual is just a bucket of ice.
Oh, I missed that line.
Yeah. And so the bartender gives what's his name? Cody.
Cody.
Bucket. I almost said Brad, which is just the exact
It's the same thing.
So he puts the bucket of ice into the sink, and he tries to wake up his uncle. Meanwhile, in the background of this entire scene, there's graffiti on the wall that says "Andy Kaufman lives." Did you happen to catch that?
Of course.
What is going on?
Well, if what's this guy's name? Roland Stepster. Rodman
Flender.
Yeah, he's a comedy guy. Maybe that was his little
homage
in-joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets his uncle going, but the uncle's like blackout. Uncle Morty's blackout drunk. Now this guy, you recognized him, right?
And I actually thought I did, and then it took me till after when I was doing the superhero count to see him clearer. And then, as a younger actor, he was in quite a lot of things.
I recognized him immediately, Henry, because right around the same time he was in this movie, he was hanging out with another Morty Seinfeld, and he's the fella who gave Jerry that pen that writes upside down.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's in a few Seinfeld episodes anytime they go to Florida.
Okay. Sure. All right.
Yeah. So it was nice to see him. He was probably the actor I enjoyed the most in the movie. Maybe my MVP is this guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I found him a little tough to take.
Well, it's listen, he's really leaning into the Jewishness of it all.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but I was so focused on the Irish stuff, so I didn't notice that.
Yeah, there's fun for us all in this one.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Meanwhile, while all this is happening, over at Harry Houdini's resting place,
Yes.
the Leprechaun is now living in a little apartment in a tree. I think he's like magically enchanted it though, because like when he goes into the tree, it seems like really big.
That's true.
It's sort of like in the Harry Potter movies, like at the you know when they go to the Quidditch World Cup and they go into that tent.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Or even the briefcase in Fantastic Beasts, right? You open that up and you can kind of climb in there and be in a laboratory in a zoo type thing. Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts.
I think I gave that a good review.
You loved that movie.
There you go.
So you and Martha were going apeshit over that fucking movie.
That's right. I remember.
All right. So he comes out of his hidey hole, and there's a homeless guy there, homeless fella.
Yes.
And he's making his home near Harry Houdini's resting place.
As good a place as any. Yeah.
Sure. And he's drinking.
Yeah.
He's got a little pint bottle of whiskey, and he's cracking that down. And I love the leprechaun. He like puts it on a string and starts pulling it towards the tree, luring the homeless guy forward. And then the leprechaun just kills this poor homeless fellow.
Yeah, he takes his tooth out first.
Oh, that's right, because it's a gold tooth.
Is that the
he
gold
loves
tooth?
Gold. Yeah,
he likes gold. Yeah.
Yeah. When he rips the guy's tooth out, by the way, they show him like bleeding from the mouth. There's clearly a tooth in that spot.
$2 million.
Yeah, $2 million. So fucking, he kills this guy. Is this also the finger?
No, that's the rich guy trying to give. He thinks the leprechaun's an LA street performer.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, he rips off that guy's finger and then says, "Finger licking good."
Yes,
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And
we got, we had Lucky Charms in the first one. We got KFC in this one.
yeah. So meanwhile, at the go-kart park, Cody and Bridget, trouble in paradise.
A little bit.
Yeah. They break up, and Bridget goes home with this fella Ian. Is that his name?
I thought his name was Tim Streer.
What?
I thought his name was Tim.
Do you really think so?
I did a superhero count, and
It's Ian.
I thought I wrote Tim Streer, shitty rapist guy.
No, that's not his name.
Oh, okay.
It's Ian.
Then that's somebody else. It's Ian? Okay.
Yeah. So Ian is he comes across like a real nice guy.
Yeah.
And he's gonna take Bridget home.
Gentleman.
But when he drops Bridget off, he tries to get a little kissage, bro.
Yeah. Tries to make a move.
Bridget's not happening, not having it. I just broke up with Cody. Can we just have a nice night? I'm gonna head inside. And so he's an asshole to her, and then she goes in, he goes, fucking tease, or whatever.
Yeah.
Just dynamite. I love
Well,
it.
he calls her a tease. So, and then, does he say to himself fucking tease or fucking bitch?
Oh, there is a bitch thrown around. You're right. Yeah, I think he calls her a tease and then says fucking bitch as she goes
right.
inside.
I want to make sure we get the parlance of our times.
I think that I appreciate that, Henry.
Yeah.
So,
then she reappears.
Oh, that's right. So she reappears in the garage and she says, "I made a mistake, Ian. You were right. We should fuck." And
Right.
He's like, "Prove it." She's like, "All right." And she takes her clothes off, pops her breasts out.
Yeah.
He gets all up on them, but he's moving real slow. He's taking it all in.
That was a strange moment because I wasn't expecting any nudity in the Leprechaun.
Well, there
franchise.
wasn't any in the first one, and so
right.
I was surprised it showed up in this one.
And I think it was probably a body double, right? Because they cut.
You never see Bridget's face in the same shot.
Right.
No.
Okay. So yeah.
It must have been a body double. Probably like Marilyn Chambers.
Right. She's right around the corner. Let's get her.
Yeah.
No. Sharon Stone wasn't available, so they got.
Oh well, Sharon Stone was big by this point, right? She's busy filming Sliver.
Come on.
or the specialist.
Come on.
Yeah.
I said that for that one listener from
who got
3
mad
years
at
ago.
us for being misogynistic about Sharon Stone.
Yeah, I think she left. Yeah, sorry.
I'm sure she's not still here.
No.
So anyway, fucking, he puts his boob. She puts her boobs in his face, and it turns out it's not boobs. It's like
What was it?
I don't know, a big spinning wheel of death. It looked
Yeah,
like
it was
it looked like the thing they worship at the end of the Wicker Man.
Oh, whoa. What a reference.
Yeah.
It was this odd mechanical scythe or something.
Scythe, yeah.
Yeah.
It did look like that. It was an interesting contraption. It was very Rube Goldbergian death.
Yeah.
And so that guy's dead. Meanwhile, Cody's at home. He's bumming hard over this breakup, looking at old Polaroids.
And then he's watching television, right? And he sees, like, the thing he's watching turns into, she turns into Bridget in the television?
Something like that. Yeah, it
Right?
was sort of like 2010.
Very, Will you stop, Cody? No.
So he jumps out, and then he hooks up with Bridget, and then it's just the rest of the movie is them running from the leprechaun.
Yeah.
It's the
it
same
really
thing as
is.
the first one.
It's exactly the same.
There's a few more deaths in this one because it's a sequel to a horror movie. That's what they do. Stuart from Mad TV at one point.
Yeah.
He's like a waiter, right? And
Yeah,
he gets burned to death with like some hot steam.
Yeah, his face is burned by steam, therefore he dies.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a way
I
you
didn't
could
think
die,
that
but
could. It must have been some real hot steam.
right through his brain.
Yeah.
I never really found that guy funny, so I didn't mind.
Well, I don't think he's doing much on-screen work now. He's been directing sitcoms for a long time.
Oh, there you go.
Directed a shit ton of episodes of Cougar Town.
Really?
Yeah, I happen
That
to know
actor?
that. That actor.
Michael McDonald, right?
Michael McDonald, sure.
He used to be in the Doobie Brothers, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna Yamo burn this place to the fucking ground.
Long train running. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Whatever you want from me.
oh, it's pretty good, Henry. Keep
Thank
going.
you. Whatever this is of me. Oh, hey, hey.
I enjoyed that very much.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so at one point they trap the leprechaun, Henry. They trap him in a wrought iron safe. By the way, which is a great moment because there's a dog door at the so they lure the leprechaun to the go-kart track, and the leprechaun again gets in a go-kart. He's a real good driver.
Yeah.
And then they get into like the place where like she was flirting with Ian earlier.
Yes.
And there's a dog door. And so the leprechaun jumps through the dog door, but on the other side of the dog door, they have a safe open to catch the leprechaun.
That's right.
They close it on the leprechaun, and so he's trapped. He's in a wrought iron thing. Every time he touches the side, it burns.
Which made me think, unless he can levitate, which I don't think we'd seen yet, wouldn't he be burning all the time because he's sitting
I think it's just
his ass would be on fire.
Henry, he's got a lot of clothing on. I think just his skin gets burned.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair point.
It's like how in vampire stuff, they can go out in direct sunlight. They've just got to like pull a cloak over them.
Oh, okay. All right. And so they kind of have him, and then Morty.
It's sort of a heel turn, Henry.
Yeah.
This is a heel turn for Uncle Morty.
Yeah.
And Uncle Morty says, "I'll let you out of there, but what I want, hey, you're a leprechaun. Clearly, you have to give 3 wishes." He's right on the money about that.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff. All right. So
he locked Cody in a room.
That's right. He locks Cody in a fucking room, and he asks for the 3 wishes. The first thing he says, I could ask for $1 million. I could ask for $1 billion.
Right.
But what I want is your pot of gold.
Which I didn't understand, but yeah.
Well, I think he's being vindictive. He's had to run away from this leprechaun all night.
He's
he wants
annoyed. Yeah.
that pot of gold in particular. And so the leprechaun's like, all right, well, sure. And he makes the pot of gold appear in his chest cavity.
Yeah, it's a real Cronenbergian.
It is. It's a little bit
moment.
of a body horror situation. Boy, I
Yeah.
watched an exhausting body horror movie yesterday, Henry.
Oh, yeah?
I checked out that Suspiria remake.
Oh, yes.
And, boy, first of all, Tom York music is gorgeous and amazing.
Okay.
But holy shit, 2.5 hours of that. It is just fucking exhausting.
No, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I almost did. I didn't get to it, but
I don't even know that I can say it's worth watching. Like, it would be worth watching because it's, like, beautiful and there's some great moments, but it's just, like, it is a full hour too long.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I saw, while we're on the topic of great movies, I saw a great movie. It will be on my 2018
We weren't
list.
on the topic of great movies.
Sure we were. We were talking about Leprechaun.
Sure. What'd you see?
I saw Widows.
Yeah, that's good, right?
It's fucking great, man.
Yeah, it's great. Didn't make my
Great.
top 10, but I did
it's
love
on
that
mine.
movie a lot. You know, of all the movies this year, I can see myself watching the shit out of that, right? Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like I'll probably watch that movie like 10 times in my life.
I absolutely will. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So what are his other wishes? He get it the fuck out of me, right?
Get it out of me.
So the leprechaun opens his chest.
Right, with his fingernail.
Oh, he's got long fingernails, Henry.
He does.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't had a manicure in 1,000 years, so
At least.
yeah, a millennia. I honestly didn't catch the third wish because the first was for the gold, the second was to get it out, and then what? I mean, he kills him, right? They might have dropped the ball on that third wish.
I don't think so. I feel like there was a third wish. I just cannot recall what it is. I'm looking it up right now, Henry.
How do you look that up?
Well, I'm looking up the Wikipedia plot summary. I feel
Good
like
luck on that.
we could find this out.
There's nothing on this movie.
Oh,
on
you're
the-
right. You're right. It's pretty weak plot summary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
paragraph.
All right, never mind. Who fucking cares?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right. So what happens next? So he's captured Bridget, and she is living in his tree as his bride.
Right.
And he's just sort of like tying up loose ends outside of the tree so he could come and fuck her.
Right.
And Cody gets there, and they have a standoff in the tree. There's one moment where Bridget tries to seduce the leprechaun so that
Correct.
she can like hit him in the head.
Right.
And I found that very sexy. Something about that. I really liked the idea of this woman seducing the leprechaun.
War.
It reminded me of like when you think someone's gonna fuck the penguin in Batman Returns.
Oh my lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a sexy woman with a ghoul.
Yeah, totally. That should be. I bet you that's like a fetish. You could find porn like that.
I'm sure there is.
Female on ghoul.
Ghoul on ghoul.
That's got to be like a tab on Spank Bang. Oh, Henry. So they defeat the leprechaun. They blow him up. Honestly.
Yeah, that was another thing that was slightly confusing because the leprechaun throws. Well, first of all, remember the guy, the little man from Bad Santa, is in this movie.
Tony Cox. Yeah,
Tony Cox.
And there's that scene at the bar where all the dwarves say one of us. It's a Freaks reference.
That was really weird.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Woo! And Leprechaun gets drunk. Yes. But he's handed a gold coin of milk chocolate. And
oh, that's right, of course.
But what confused me at the end is he hands the leprechaun this piece of chocolate. The leprechaun's just so enamored with the fact that he thinks it's the gold. And then he throws... Now, the optics were not very clear because of the $2 million budget. The optics looked like he stabbed Cody in the chest and killed him. But then Cody just gets up and then stabs him.
Well, no, Henry...
Yeah, I lost the thread when I was watching.
The gold, that particular gold piece, grants the owner immunity from stabbing. That's established earlier in the movie. Cody is stabbed and immediately heals because he has the gold piece.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Boy, I don't remember that.
And so he gives the leprechaun the piece of chocolate. The leprechaun now thinks that Cody is vulnerable and he is the one who is invulnerable. And so he stabs Cody. It doesn't hurt Cody because he still has the gold piece. And then Cody blows up the leprechaun.
Right. Okay. All right. And then very wisely throws the gold piece back.
That was really stupid. He hang on to the fucking thing. They're like walking away from the tree, and he's like, "Problem solved." And he just tosses it behind him. I mean, if nothing else, bring it to a fucking cash for gold store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in LA. It's a short trip to Vegas. But I guess to your earlier point, maybe Cody knows a little bit about what's going to happen in Leprechaun 3 and is like, well, he's not going to come for vengeance. So
True. Supposedly, the original plan was to do a direct sequel to this one as the third. Like Cody and Bridget were supposed to come back.
Oh.
And but we'll talk more about that next week. They instead somehow hit upon the idea of the Leprechaun going to Vegas.
Oh.
Which is the next movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So what do you give this one, Henry?
I give this one a 1.
This one I will give a 2. I had fun watching this.
Did you?
Yes. I was very, very bored by the first one. And honestly, Jennifer Aniston was the only bright spot. This one is way more the kind of thing, pop on at a party with some friends, you'll have a real nice time.
Yeah, I thought it was a piece of shit. I guess I thought going into this that the first one they were like. I knew they were horror comedies, but I thought they were a little bit more on the
horror side.
Yes, and that
they get goofier.
I can't imagine. I mean, isn't Ice-T in one of them?
Well, Ice-T's in at least one of the Hood movies. Yeah.
Right. That's
a positive as far as I'm concerned.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So it's terrible. I'm gonna go 1.
Who's your MVP?
I'm gonna go with Warwick Davis.
You going with Warwick Davis? I think this Cody kid was an engaging lead. Sort of like it's like that sort of like not classically cool, like they're going for more of a Ducky kind of a feel.
Ducky.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I thought he was all right. I'll go with him.
All right. I mean Warwick gets it probably just because of the amount of time he had to spend in makeup.
Honestly, I don't think I can ever give Warwick Davis an MVP for one of these movies, and it's just because the Leprechaun will not shut the fuck up for 2 seconds.
He's very
I can't.
loquacious.
He's so pleased with himself. Anytime he's moving, he's like, he's breathing real out. And anytime he says anything, he's delighted by it. I cannot take this fucking little guy.
Right. Well, I hate him too. I just couldn't latch on to anything else.
But that's why I have to latch on to these like teen storylines or whatever.
I get it.
Because otherwise, there's nothing for me.
Well, I mean, maybe you've convinced me to give it to Clint Howard.
That's fine. Clint Howard's very funny in that scene.
Fine, I will give it to Clint Howard.
By the way, Clint Howard's Ice Cream Man, better 90s horror movie than either of these.
I have heard of that, yeah. I am going to give my LVP to Bridget.
Yeah, fine.
And who is your LVP?
Oh, I don't know. Good heavens.
Yeah.
I mean,
come on now.
I'll go with Ian.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
No, I kind of liked him. He was good. I liked his fucking bitch.
Right, he's a good scumbag. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'll go with Warwick Davis.
There you go. Hooah! All right, I got a 4 count.
All right.
Here we go.
4 count. That is high.
It wasn't as low as I wanted it to be, brother. Kimmy Robertson.
No.
As you might
Probably
imagine.
voice work, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And not too much that it, I could write it. Batman animated series. She played Alice in an episode, I believe, featuring the Mad Hatter. So there you go.
Yeah.
Batman Beyond. She played a character named Margot.
Okay.
She was in an episode of The Tick. But I couldn't find out who.
Okay.
Clint Howard, who we've covered
Ice
before.
Cream Man. Great superhero.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
He was in The Rocketeer, playing a character named Mark.
Oh, okay. Has Ron Howard ever done a superhero?
That's what I thought, yeah. Okay, the person playing the desk sergeant.
Sure.
Sure. Al White was in many, many episodes of Wonder Woman, the TV series with Linda Carter, and The Incredible Hulk from the 70s.
I'm sure he was.
There you go. And lastly, this person who I thought was Ian, but clearly was not, played the actor Mark Kiley. Played
Mark
Tim...
Kiley, he is talent agent. That's who he played in this.
It says Tim Steer on what I was looking at.
I don't know.
Okay. Guess your IDM being it.
I am DBing it.
Yeah, it didn't really matter.
Okay.
He was in a few episodes of Lois and Clark.
Okay, Lois and Clark, of course. Now, is that it?
That is it.
All right, so tune in next. Well, we'll do that at the end. Henry, for fuck's sake,